Good evening. My name is Rachel Hanhart. I've looked over Susan's case history and I'd just like to review it with you and let you know what my approach to therapy sessions would be. We completed a CAP 2 test with Susan. So this is an assessment for articulation, which is where all the parts in your mouth and throat are when you're speaking. It's also an assessment for phonology, which is how your brain puts together all the sounds before they actually come out. Whenever we ran this test, Susan showed to have an articulation disorder, and she also showed to have a severe phonological processing disorder. We took a language sample during the CAP 2 test as well, and we found that there were a few two-word utterances or phrases, and she primarily spoke in those one-word utterances. In order to improve her intelligibility or how well she's understood, I would like to use the Hodson cycle approach. This approach uses a schedule to help us increase her intelligibility quickly by targeting each phonological pattern. A few examples of phonological patterns in general are fronting, like saying tookie for cookie, backing, like saying gog for dog, and cluster reduction, like saying pain for plane. I'd also like to complete an oral mechanism exam. This is just an oral evaluation to make sure that everything in her mouth and in her throat and everything are working correctly and effectively. My goal is to improve her sound discrimination so that she can tell the difference whenever she's messing up a word. That's going to be beneficial so that she can tell whenever she's saying something incorrectly instead of us having to actually tell her. We want to be able to help her learn the sounds in every context possible so that it isn't an issue whenever she isn't in a therapy session or at home with you. She can just say it wherever she is. Her potential goals are as follows. Client will reduce phonological processes of fronting. Client will produce multisyllabic words. Client will produce glides in the initial position of words. So we've got 3 long-term goals here. And the first goal is one of those phonological processes that we had spoke about earlier. This is fronting. So it's the one where she says tookie for cookie. We just want to make sure that that's reduced, and we'll be using that cycles approach that was talked about earlier to be able to do that. The second goal is to have her producing multisyllabic words. So these are words that anything that has more than one syllable. We just want her to be able to be more functional in conversations, whether it's with y'all or with therapists or just out wherever she may be. And the last goal that we have for her is to help her produce glides in the initial position of words. A glide is when an R or an L sound becomes a W, so it's going to be like wabbit for rabbit. Our recommendation is going to be to have speech and language therapy at least 2 times a week for 45 minutes, and we're also going to want to send a program home with you so that the consistency and generalization of her skills stays consistent. We'll establish these goals, generalize them against different settings and therapists, and then we'll also just check on the established skills every once in a while for maintenance. So I hope that this helped you to understand kind of what our goals are here and what the therapy session will be like. So if you have any questions, just let me know.